to be written into the history books of Ironman. The gift is your finish line.
Pro Series, it's the ultimate test of speed, endurance, and grit. There was always pressure, now there's added pressure.
This can't just be a dustbuster. It's got to be on their A game here today.
No better time to be a professional athlete right now. The Ironman Pro Series is
Every second matters.
3.3 Oceanside to the red carpet to win. As Taylor Knibb makes her way.
Lionel Sanders takes the lead in the Ironman Pro Series, and every second is going to matter for these athletes coming behind. I have been waiting since it was announced, and I'm so excited.
Adrenaline pumping through my veins, so original. I am not the same as these cats. I sting on the line and make beeswax.
Water on the floor, it's cold as ice. Take the pain and make it motivation.
I still be here standing. My focus is at one. Every mind since day one, and I'm still climbing. Real blind, still trying. I'm getting out of two. Talking top two, I'm not a two. You let the pressure bother you, and I do what I gotta do. Let's go home.
20 races, 9 countries, stunning locations, varied courses, swells of spectators, $1.7 million bonus prize purse, and amateur fields racing in parallel.
Welcome to Taupo, New Zealand and the 2024 Ironman Season Special. What a year it's been, filled with breathtaking races in iconic destinations around the globe, the exciting launch of the Ironman Pro Series, inspiring stories from age group athletes, and unforgettable moments at the finish line. So where do we start? Let's go back to where it all began.
In 1978 was crazy because, 15 brave souls, jumped into the water down there and just outside of Honolulu at Sans Souci Beach, and then I think it took a couple of years for people to sort of think, hang on a second, are they crazy, or is this actually doable?
The Ironman is the history of the sport of triathlon. The history has been made at the Ironman World Championship.
So Ironman is a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike and a marathon. It's like a lot. And why do we do it? I think as humans, we just crave challenge. And this is one way to put yourself through a challenge. And on race day, regardless of how much training you've done, it's going to take something more than just your physical abilities.
To stand on a start line, having trained to swim, bike and run 140.6 miles of racing within 17 hours, it's astounding. And for the ordinary person who looks at Ironman as an iconic event and as a challenge, to be able to get to that start line is a victory in itself.
The beauty is in the battle, right? And I think this is a microcosm of, life's battles. You get to experience it all in one day, and you have to rise to the occasion.
There's lots and lots of Ironman races, almost 200 Ironman races all over the world, and we have thousands of athletes who conquer their courses. They get to that finish line every weekend across the year.
There are moments where you are euphoric. There are moments of extreme doubt. There are moments where you believe in that moment it will be impossible to continue. So next thing, you're coming out of the darkness and there's the finish line lit up in front of you, and you have done it, and you have done so much more than you ever thought you could. And that is the power of Ironman for me, because that's when you see people's lives change. I've always thought to myself that if there was a way to bottle the emotion of an Ironman finish line, that would be better than any drug on the planet.
You know, and we know. The thing about challenging yourself is, you're always looking for what's next.
Here's Elizabeth in the middle of the perfect workout for her. To create it, we analyzed her biometrics and genetics, her recovery rate, injury risk, and aerobic potential, her recent training sessions, the temperature, humidity, and elevation, the demands of her next race, and billions of data points from athletes just like her. With TriDot, Elizabeth gets faster. And what does she have to do?
I just opened TriDot and did my workout.
TriDot. We do the technology, you do the training.
The launch of the IRONMAN Pro Series was undeniably one of the highlights of the year. Spanning 20 races worldwide, it united the top long course triathletes in a showcase of intense competition and unparalleled talent. This series was a true game changer for the sport, and we were front and center to witness it all unfold.
So the Ironman Pro Series was announced at the end of 2023, and it absolutely sent shockwaves through the triathlon community, particularly amongst the pros, because there's a whole lot of money on the line. So when you add not only the $1.7 million bonus pool at the end of the year to the already traditional prize purses at all of these races, it's over $6 million that's being paid out to professional triathletes.
You can't just race for money. It doesn't work like that. Our sport is way too tough, and that's not how you get to the finish line, but it's created so much more competition. We're seeing so many more athletes, the biggest start list we've ever seen.
So you suddenly have waiting lists for races. You have 100 pro men signing up for Texas and 60 or 80 pro women. Like, just talking about numbers of pro athletes coming to these events and gunning after the points. And it was exactly what was required.
This is what the pros have really been wanting for a long time, to have a series of events culminating in, obviously the World Championship events, but a point score throughout the year. It's all been about qualifying it for Kona for Nice, whereas the series now puts this different spin on with, the 20 races over the year.
The standings, it's incredible because you have to race to the line. It's not as though you can just, rest on your laurels and just say, oh, I'm in second place, I'll just, put the handbrake on a little bit and just coast home and I'll get ready for the next race. It's every second matters.
First of all, it's great to have a series like the Pro Series. I'm super excited and really happy that Ironman put in the effort to set up a show like this for the pros.
The Athletic Brewing Ironman 70.3 Oceanside is the kickoff of the season, and it kind of always has been. And this year, it's the kickoff of the season again, but for the inaugural Ironman Pro Series.
We saw in Oceanside, Taylor Knibb was in another area code to her competitors. So even the women who landed on the podium got significantly less points because Taylor was so much further ahead.
10 minutes is a lot of points that, you're losing. So maybe adding another 70.3 somewhere in the year that they can replace that score with potentially. But yeah, when athletes like that come in, that sort of throws a little bit of a wrench in the works sometimes. Pretty much I saw what happened at Oceanside, and that's what I wasn't for sure going to do Chattanooga until I saw what happened at Oceanside, and then I said, I have to do Chattanooga because I know I can score good at these two, and that was that.
I think Lionel Sanders is one of the athletes for whom the announcement of the Ironman Pro Series was a revelation, and I think it really did reignite his passion for the sport.
I like to have things that motivate me too, and so, 5 races, you can have 5 peak performances in a season, and so it just so happens you need 5 races to win the Ironman Series. So, and then of course now I'm thinking about I'm trying to win the Ironman Series.
This has just brought all sorts of intrigue, and so many athletes' profile has been raised globally. When we talk about Jackie Herring and Danielle Lewis, remarkable women, but the world hasn't necessarily always known about them and how talented they are.
Matt Hansen, made for this. Matthew Marquardt, made for this. Fenella Langridge, made for this. Kat Matthews, made for this. They're athletes that can hold their own in 70.3s and be close to the front, because you got to be, every second matters, close enough, but can win Ironman races.
My ultimate result in the Pro Series aligns very nicely, but in the case where some people are having phenomenal days or I'm not having my best day ever, it enables me to reframe and think about, okay, I need to focus on the Pro Series.
2 Ironmans and a 70.3, and then the 2 World Championships. It was sort of the perfect season, plan A.
When the series was announced, to just kind of okay, here's my schedule, I know exactly what I have to plan for, and then it was just go and execute as many of the good races as you possibly can.
We're all very aware of where our competitors are stacking up in the points overall for the year. So, you might see someone that is going for the Pro Series and they could be a couple minutes back and you're like, oh, but if I put a little bit more time into them, maybe, I can edge above them or I can be further ahead of them in the points as well.
Once the races had got underway and you saw just those difference in points of where people ranked down to 10th finishing in an Ironman, but we're still then positioned overall really well in the Pro Series. And so it was just that recognition of, okay, yes, actually, if you as an athlete play this right, do the right Ironman races, get those 3 or 4 under your belt, then this is your year, this is your series. Daniela obviously is a legend. 5 times a winner at the Ironman World Championship. It's a shame that she's not here racing the Pro Series. But you can't always control your story and the ending of your story. But I'm sure she's going to continue to do great things, and I wish her all the best. And, she is that type of athlete that we're forever going to talk about because, having 5 titles, unbelievable.
Daniela is someone who's shaped my career. She's pushed me to be better. She's kind of been on the top step many times when I've been second, so I've been chasing her, chasing that top spot, and she's definitely just pushed me every day in training to be that bit better. So she'll be greatly missed, and I really did want to have one last battle with her.
I feel really lucky that I had the opportunity to compete against Daniela. She is the undisputed GOAT in our sport, so she's raised the game and made us all take this to a new level, especially on the bike.
Daniela Rive is an absolute outstanding career. Yeah, maybe she's one of the greatest we've ever seen in the sport, and I'm a bit sad that her career ends like that, because an athlete of her caliber, you wish she could have the ending of the career she was like hoping for. She generates the prestige that we've had in the last few years, and I hope that we can sort of not fulfill that, but generate a new era of that sort of professionalism and prestige.
Hey man, do you have a non-alcoholic beer that
actually tastes good? I think you mean athletic.
Excuse me? Do you have that great non-alcoholic beer?
I'll set it.
Found it!
Do you have a favorite non-alcoholic beer on the menu? Ah.
Athletic it is.
She's funny.
While professional athletes were chasing Ironman Pro Series points, age group athletes were pursuing their own finish line dreams, all for the chance to hear those 4 magic words: you are an Ironman. The 2024 season brought us some truly inspiring stories that not only captivated us, but also fueled our motivation to keep training and pushing forward, no matter the obstacles.
What makes Ironman racing special is always that the course is shared between the age groupers and the pros, for me at least. It's something unique about our sport and special, and often the most inspiration comes from the age groupers. The everyday people getting out there and trying to do something that their friends and family think is insane.
Everyone on that start line is hoping that everyone gets to that finish line. And I think that's why triathlon is so special, because we face exactly the same mental game.
And everyone has their why, everyone has their reason. And so, I think it's really cool to have that. Not only the professionals that are, obviously focused their lives around racing triathlon, but the amateurs who are like, this is something I'm adding to my life, and it's enhancing my life in some way.
One of those athletes is David Whelan, and he's a para-triathlete and adaptive amputee, and he probably wouldn't say this, but his is a harder struggle to get around that course. And why I know David wouldn't say that is that he doesn't want to be judged as a para-triathlete or a challenged athlete. He wants to be judged as an athlete. And I get goosebumps saying that, because it's hard not to be inspired by people like that.
March of 2012, I was injured in a work-related accident, had my foot crushed by a piece of equipment. From there, I was subsequently diagnosed with a rare form of a nerve condition called complex regional pain syndrome. It felt like I was constantly being lit on fire and stabbed repeatedly, and just felt like my leg was in a vice. I went about 6.5 years with that. I was given the opportunity to elect to amputate my foot in 2018. The amputation went absolutely horrible. It was like gasoline on a wildfire. I went 2 years without a left foot. And at that time I was 232 pounds, just a ball of suicidal depression. I knew that I couldn't keep moving forward how I was, because I wasn't. I was simply existing. I get to do this. I get to face that challenge. I get to face that fear. I really believe that anything is possible. You can cross that finish line, you can climb that mountain, you can do whatever you want. If you're willing to put in the work, then you can do it. It really is possible.
In 2024, the women made history at the VinFast Ironman World Championship in Nice, France. The challenging course and fierce competition brought out some of the best performances we've ever seen. Yeah, so a bombshell was dropped the day before the race, and Lucy Charles-Barclay announced that she would not be starting the Ironman World Championship. I think that sent shockwaves through the pro women's field. Stuff like this just happens. It's like a pressure cooker. This year it was unfortunately Lucy, dealing with an injury, not willing to run a marathon on a torn calf. And as a pro, when you sit down and visualize the race, you have Lucy in the race. And so when that's taken away, I don't know, like everyone's narrative is now flipped upside down.
This VinFast Ironman World Championship here in Nice was exactly what we thought it was going to be. It was epic. And this course is insane. It's beautiful in every way, and it's challenging in a ton of ways as well. The joy of triathlon was out on that course, and these athletes provided a show. And then we had this epic battle from Laura Philipp and Kat Matthews.
Seeing Kat and Laura come into transition shoulder to shoulder, that was an exciting moment, because you're like, oh man, I don't know who the stronger runner is here. Like, this is going to be a serious battle, and a world title is on the line.
So Laura's race sets a whole new standard. It's unreal. Kat, just once again amazes us all with what she can do. And then Chelsea Sodaro answers so many questions. 2022 wasn't a fluke.
A world championship title doesn't come easy, and you have to pay a price, and it will hurt. And luckily I was prepared for this. Finish shoot was just crazy. It was so nice, so many people there. It's such a special feeling, to have so many people cheering for you and actually being happy that you made it. And I had so many competitors, but also fans and spectators coming to me and letting me know, that they were rooting so much for me, and they really feel like I deserved this. And this was, I think, just like something I never experienced before, and something that makes me really, really grateful.
It was an incredible day. I think the women showed us that they could conquer anything. Grit, determination, perseverance, from Laura Philipp crossing the finish line as the 2024 VinFast Ironman World Champion to the very last athlete.
For a lot of the athletes out there, Ironman is a metaphor or a jumping point to show yourself that you can do whatever you want. Steph Joshi is certainly no exception to that. If you're around her or see any of the social media she does, she's just so excited about life in general, sport, new experiences, and Ironman. And it was really, really cool to see her come to the World Championships in knees and bring with her almost 500,000 followers, Ironman will be another big step for her to show herself that whatever door she wants to go through, she can.
I was never sporty growing up. PE was my most dreaded subject at school. Started my YouTube channel thinking, oh, maybe I could inspire other people that thought that they were also useless at sport growing up. And I did a few little like YouTube challenges on the side where I would kind of come up with a spontaneous fitness challenge, I guess, film it, not really training for them, just kind of, oh, this is a great idea, let me see how it goes, and kind of winging it. And then I thought, like, how would I actually do if I had a real goal and I trained for it? Like, what could the outcome be? And that's where Ironman comes into this. So my whole life has just done a flip. It's taught me that I'm a lot tougher and stronger than what I think I am. We've all experienced those long ass training sessions where we're on our own and we're questioning, why is it we're even doing this? But like, that all gets answered, it all makes sense. Like, it's like, it was all worth it, you know, just to be there and just to realize that all your hard work really did count. And I never ever in my wildest dreams thought that I would feel so emotional and so passionate about something that even 3 years ago, if you'd have asked me what a triathlon is, I wouldn't have even known. I wouldn't have even known. But it's honestly changed my life, and I mean that.
Kicker Run from Wahoo. A revolutionary indoor running experience where you just run and your feet set the pace. We call it Run Free Mode, a game-changing technology that allows you to change speeds naturally, just like you do outdoors. You can even let popular training apps control the speed and grade for you. Kicker Run by Wahoo. It's time to run free.
And then there was Kona. The VinFast Ironman World Championship for the men was another one for the books. This will go down as one of the fastest races in history on the Big Island.
I think the Ironman World Championship in Kona holds iconic status in our sport for a lot of reasons. Obviously the stature of a world title, but just the location and the history, how challenging a race it is. think it's one of the deepest fields we've seen in probably a decade, maybe more. It's 3 returning champions. We've got 10 or 11 athletes who have podiumed at World Championships, either at this distance or the 70.3. So I think that speaks to the calibre. And I think what's kind of unique as well is a lot of these athletes are in good form.
What surprised me about the swim this year was how massive the group was for a very long time. Like, it was one complete group for probably 500 or 600 meters.
I think it's a new normal here. I mean, to have 22 guys in the front pack, that's quite large, and that just speaks to the density of the race, you know. Now, I mean, we swam pretty fast, 47 flat.
The bike gave us what we thought it was going to give us, and in some ways it was total chaos, and in some ways it was solo athlete and like serenity to a certain extent, right? Like, you had, even before we got onto the bike, somehow Sam Lalo had gotten a little gap out of transition, and I think everybody in their pre-race plans were hoping to be near Sam, and Sam would be in the group, and then they'd try to hang on to Sam, or the group would get influenced by Sam, and then he took it totally out of the equation and he was out on his own.
I was a little bit worried, especially about Sam. I thought that it could be a problem if Sam was as strong as he's been the past 2 editions of the World Championships. So at the turnaround, I already saw Sam was up front, and I just thought, fuck, not again.
The bike was something for the record books, literally, with the fastest time. And I never thought sub 4 hours would ever happen on this course. And for Sam to go 3:57 is pretty unbelievable. And then, to me, the most impressive thing was athletes that I thought were just out for a spin because they were having a bad day were still riding 404s, 405s. Matt Hansen rode a 414. It looked like he was the last man on planet Earth. And again, 414 would have been a bike course record like 7 or 8 years ago. Quickly, you could see on a lead drive who was overdoing it, who was going to be patient, who wasn't. You could see athletes that are used to going out really hard, like Gregory Barnaby was trying to be a little bit more reserved, very smart racing. You saw athletes like Patrick Lea just being like, see you later, guys, I'm doing my thing. And, you know, he was racing thinking that Sam was having his best day, and what he had to do to try to beat Sam on his best day was probably that.
It's hard to describe the feelings because I always push the emotions out during the race. I don't want to feel either sadness or excitement. You know, I try to be in the zone, so I really try to zoom out.
Patrick Lang, a third-time winner here. He's going to go down as one of the best ever, and certainly one of the best runners that has ever been on this course.
I always said that I did not have a perfect day in a triathlon race before yesterday. But yesterday, I think that was the perfect race. That was my masterpiece. That's been my greatest performance.
One of the things I love about this sport is sport unites. And people like Team Agar and Billy Monga, these are people who have the power to inspire that I don't think they realize their power. You know, Billy was a racing driver. He had a horrendous crash. He lost both his limbs. He has the most incredible spirit. Here's a person who's had like extreme challenge in their life, and what is he doing? He's not racing for himself. He's racing for charity.
Johnny and Jeff Agar, incredible story, featured on the documentary in 2016. They attempted to finish the Ironman World Championship here in Kailua Kona. It didn't happen for them, but they never gave up. Johnny has cerebral palsy. He's an incredible young man who is an athlete just like everybody else, along with his dad Jeff, and they want to prove that anything is possible. Jonathan, he's been diagnosed with terminal cancer. Was due to race here as a legacy athlete a few years ago, and he couldn't come because he got a second cancer diagnosis, and he's here.
Ironman is more than a race. it has given me the opportunity to show what true strength, courage, and resilience is. The most important thing I believe is that I can be a force for good. You know, I'm not the same athlete as I was before, but it's not just about me anymore. You know, I am racing for my wife, my son, my mom, my friends, and this community that has carried me. I thought that I'm carrying this terminal disease, but after 2 years, I realized that I was the one who has been carried by all of them.
All roads have led us here, the 2024 VinFast Ironman 70.3 World Championship. World titles were won, and after a season of 22 races, we crowned the first ever men's and women's IRONMAN Pro Series champions. There was a lot to celebrate on the shores of Lake Taupo.
We're finally here, 2024. In the season, it's middle of December. We've never had a world championship this late. So you have athletes that have been looking for this day, age group, and pro athletes, like this has been their A race for the entire year. So there's a ton of positive energy coming in Taupo.
What I love about the 70.3 distance is that it does bring short course athletes up and it brings the Ironman athletes down. It's sort of that meet in the middle distance, and we have athletes that focused on the Olympics earlier in the year, now shifting their focus to the 70.3 and the world champs, and Julie Duron, Taylor Knibb, and then we have athletes like Ashley Gentle, who is a 70.3 specialist, same as Paula Finlay. And then you have long course athletes stepping down, like Kat Matthews, who is trying to clinch that overall in the Pro Series. So Taylor basically took no time. She busted out of transition and just got to the front, and the next thing we knew, she had 30 seconds. Then it was out to a minute, then it was out to 1:30. Imogen Simmons and Kat Matthews and Paula Finlay initially looked like a trio, but then it ended up being Imo and Kat Matthews, who were that duo, riding really strong together, and they weren't giving up too much time to Taylor. It wasn't till the very end of the bike that time blew out to around high 4s, low 5s.
The last 20 or 30K, I felt like that could be a decisive moment in the race. I was really excited about it because it just sucked. And that means that that's an awesome place for people to break. And so kind of viewing the course through that lens of you know what, this is going to be awful during the race, and so you can get more time in this place.
Honestly, I thought that it's game over unless something happens to Taylor. So really at this point, Taylor can protect her lead. I mean, she's such a great runner too, and if she puts together her standard run, then the race is hers. For Kat, I think it doesn't matter the occasion, it doesn't matter the course, it doesn't matter the time of year. She's consistently strong in all three disciplines. Obviously, Ashley negative split that run and got herself on the podium, which is really cool because it says one of the best middle distance athletes in the world, and this is her first 70.3 world champ, so very cool to see. Yeah, so in the end, Kat, she was basically in the box seat to win the Ironman Pro Series. She is the overall title for Ironman Pro Series. Jackie Herring had a little bit of a battle to make sure she could retain that second position in the IRONMAN Pro Series. So Jackie Heron in second place, and then Lotte Wilms, a solid performance today to add to her points and move her up the rankings into third place. So a really solid year for Lotte Wilms as well.
It does feel special. I think I'm not sure how I feel about it exactly at the moment, because obviously it's such an accumulation of good results rather than just one good day. Triathlon Insights did a good stat that it was like 97% of the points available. So if I ever got that on a test score at school, I'm sure I'd be pretty pleased. I really hope that this has shown not just how exciting it is for us as professionals, the Pro Series, but for the whole community watching it, and these battles, like you say, within the battles. It's been really great to race the same girls as well all year.
The men's field is, it's fire. Let's start with the hometown favourites. I mean, Kyle Smith, he's a local boy from Taupo. I think Hayden Wild, obviously Olympic silver medalist from Paris, the defending champ, Rico Bogan from Germany, and Leo Berger. The couple of times he stepped up and raced the 70.3 distance, he's won. The Gaines, I think, is a guy who come from the short course background, which I feel this race is more about speed than endurance.
If you were excited before race day and walking down to the start, when you saw the Waka come into shore and the performance this morning with the Haka was, if you didn't have goosebumps, you didn't have a pulse. Yeah, so you could see as the swim started to develop, we saw Gregory Harper being an athlete in a white cap, Josh Amberger, a previous first out of the water in Kona athlete there. We saw Mark Dubrick, known as the Shark, because he's such a good swimmer there. We saw Leo Berger, one of our pre-race favorites in that group as well. Rico Bogan was there for a little bit, but then things started to stretch out. We saw athletes push the pace straight out of transition. So you have Matthias Marger, Rico Bogan was up there, Kyle Smith, all those athletes trying to disrupt the pace early if they could to get rid of Leo, Hayden, and Jelle Heens. It was crazy watching Hayden Wild come in off the bike. He was a flash in T2, and clearly he wanted to get a gap on those athletes early.
It run course throughout the whole 10K lap. It was just littered with people. It was crazy, and it was just I think that was probably part of the reason why I went out a bit too hard.
And if Hayden runs a 65, as he says, kudos to him, he deserves the win. I got a bit carried away for those first couple kilometers, but then tried to really settle down.
It starts to settle in when you finally get across that finish line and you look back and you're the first one there. You can call yourself an Ironman 70.3 world champion, and nobody can take that away from you.
Yeah, my first attempt to become world champion, it's really, I guess, all the sacrifice that me, but not only me, but also the family, that it actually came to fruition, and I won, yeah.
Yeah, so the Ironman Pro Series definitely delivered. And Gregory Barnaby, consistent through the entire season. Amazing results amongst some crazy competitive fields. Top 10 in Kona, 6th place at the VinFast Ironman World Championship. You saw him win in Western Australia at the Asia Pacific 70.3 Championships. And coming across the finish line, top 10 at another World Championships. And $200,000 more in his pocket after today by winning the Pro Series.
The Pro Series has been amazing for me. I mean, to be the first Pro Series champion, yeah, it just feels amazing. I feel finally I've really achieved something in my career, and I kind of got that little piece of history in triathlon, I think.
And then you saw Christian Hogenhaug was aggressive all day, was trying to get himself as far up as possible. When he learned that Matthew Marquardt wasn't having a great day, he tried, he had hope to possibly get second in the Ironman Pro Series, and he didn't quite have enough to overcome Patrick Lange, who didn't race here today, but had an amazing season, obviously, with huge points at the VinFast Ironman World Championships. But then you had Matthew Marquardt able to cross the finish line pretty far back in the 30s, but gave every piece of energy he had to get across that finish line.
That's it from Taupo, New Zealand, as we close out our 2024 season. Whether it's at an Ironman event around the world or watching our Ironman Pro Series broadcasts from home, we look forward to an exciting 2025 season with you. And if you liked what you saw today, be sure to watch season 2 of our 8-episode docuseries, An Iron Will, coming in early 2025. From all of us at Ironman, thank you for joining us.